guys. So, if you're in the business in providing services, there's a lot of ways you can grow your business. So that's why in this podcast, in Business in Focus, we brought in a special person to talk about this. And I don't want to go through a lot of big intros. Like I just want to get to the guest and let him talk his wisdom to us. And without further ado, guest, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is CJ Lee, and it's a pleasure to be invited here by Vince, my boy. Anyway, so myself, I've been in the fitness industry for the last 14 years, and currently I am part of Move Private Fitness. And basically, my day to day is helping the studio business to grow and scale nationwide and also beyond Malaysia as well. So that's the biggest task we are taking on right now is to make it an international brand coming out from Malaysia.
All right. So this is a very special guest. Like we want to talk about those international level and expanding the business as well, so it can be helpful for our viewers who's listening to this. So fitness. Can I ask you like why you started in fitness though? Is it like there's a lot of business you can dive into. Like why specifically fitness?
Oh, back then when I was young, I actually went over to New Zealand to study. So right over there, I had the environment to just really do what I wanted. Okay, to the point that I failed my high school because I
What?
yeah, I was just doing what I wanted to do with no rules and no boundary. Because it's New Zealand, it's not Singapore, right? Although I had spent 1 year in Singapore, but yeah, that's a story for another day. So New Zealand had allowed me to tap into my passion, and at the same time, I really looked at what other people were doing in terms of career and jobs. So I couldn't really imagine myself working in an office, right, and having to be in a so-called cubicle. Well, that's basically where you spend your first few years as a freshie, right? So then what happened was I got into fitness because I had a friend of mine. I basically just followed everything he did. When he learned Spanish, I learned Spanish. He learned DJing, I learned DJing. He did skateboarding, I did skateboarding. Then he got into fitness training, I got into fitness training. So that's how I got started. So a combination of kind of like, he got me into the fitness world, and at the same time, I couldn't really imagine myself working in office and being in New Zealand. You had this free spirit kind of lifestyle. So that's how I got into it.
Oh my god! So basically, you just follow the friend. Is the friend still in fitness right now?
No, no, he didn't really follow through everything that he did. And so it was the same as me as well. I didn't follow through everything that I copied, but the only thing I followed through was fitness. And I took it further by becoming a fitness coach, then eventually opening up studios.
I see. All right. So, opening up studios. So, how long were you a trainer, and how long were you when you after you dive into opening a studio?
So I was being a trainer for 9 years. All right. And
Okay.
then so it was a long, long 9 years, of course. If you imagine something, anything for 9 years, you probably get tired thinking about it, right? So the same
Yep.
thing, 9 years, but it was done in different countries, so it was still kind of okay. Then for the last 5 years, I've been getting to studio business, and ever since, never looked back.
All right. So, can you share with us more about your studio? Move Fitness, right?
Yes.
Yep. Can you tell us more about that?
Right. So basically, in terms of um, what we do, right, as a service, we're really
Mhm.
just focusing on one-on-one personal training because that's something that I've always been doing for the entire time, and that's something that appealed to me most because I love that level of connection with clients, right? Rather than a big group and then you go in hoo-ha and then becoming a cheerleader, and after that you don't really get real connection. And those real connection that I had, right, is something that we really want to have in Move Private Fitness as well for every of our clients with their trainers. So in terms of what we do, we are serving one-on-one premium and private personal training service. And at the same time, if you talk about market positioning, we are definitely going into the premium and private um, segments where there's not a lot of player right now. Right now,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
I'm sure if you ever been inspired by this podcast, you probably want to get your hands in because it's actually a an intriguing and purposeful journey as well. So I hope that more and more people get to play this game together, because I don't believe in having, the fear of competitions, but I really believe that, the boats on the same tide rise together. So I welcome you to join in.
All right. So if you guys are interested, link in the description below. All right. That is quite fascinating though, since you decided to go more of a one-on-one kind of business niche rather than those, like those other gyms, they just focus on like memberships, and then you can just use the equipments there. Made you decide that you wanted to go with this direction, or did you even when you starting out, was this the business plan you going with, or you just change halfway through the years?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And I'm sure this is kind of like the thought process behind why we do what we do. So if you manage to catch this, maybe you're able to just replicate what we do very quickly. But anyway, so here's a secret, right? So now in business, you can sell tangible and intangibles, right? Tangibles are, let's say, in the context of fitness studios and gyms, tangibles are your space, your equipment, your flashy couch, your nice statue painting, and your 10,000 square feet, you know, swimming pool, right? All of these are tangible. Okay. Now, unfortunately, with smaller players, we don't have that much money to fight with the big boys, right? If you look at fitness first, but if you look at Virgin Active, right, the ones in Singapore and Thailand, they have all the money because it's owned by Richard Branson. So they have swimming pool, they have everything, they have all the tangibles, cream of the crop tangibles. Now, if you think you're trying to fight with them, good luck, right? Even if you're Richard Branson's best friend, good luck. He's not gonna help you. But then, what about intangibles? Intangibles are things that you cannot really, no matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter. Like you can't really get it even though you have money. Yes, you can, but there are still other things at play.
You won't have the market, the what's the word, the market accusation or something.
You wouldn't really, because intangible is something that it's kind of like it's there, but you can't really pinpoint what it is. Not like equipment. Oh, this equipment I can see is $10,000, right? Intangible is like your service, right? Your care, your ability to challenge your clients at the right time, your empathy, your ability to make your clients feel like they're on top of the world, your ability to get clients results in a way that is sustainable. So those are very intangible, right? And unfortunately, those are the hardest things that someone can master, especially a gym studio owner, because those require a lot of inner world evolution. Meaning, like you can't achieve all of that if you don't have this inner world evolution happen to you and for you. So, if you don't have that, how can you do that for others, right? Whereas it's so much easier to fight with the tangibles. Give me more money, I'll go buy the best of the best. Give me more money, I'll go get a big space. Give me more money, I will go get the flashiest interior design.
All right. So before we move into the main topic of the podcast, right, I just want to have one question with you, which is that you've been a trainer for 9 years, and of course, there's a lot of up and down in any businesses. But one of the comments I researched, one of the what's the problems that most fitness trainers face is that motivating their clients. Like, how do they stick with that? When you one-on-one, you have a plan with them. How do you actually motivate your clients to keep up with the plan?
All right, so clients come in all shapes and sizes, okay? So of course, when you're first starting out, you have no choice but take everyone, okay? Everyone and anyone that has money, okay? That's when you want to do your hours, your time to make sure that you become better and better. But then later on, I would say this is probably something that you would never hear anywhere else, but it's just my thought behind how to motivate clients, how to answer the questions from you, Vin. So basically, you need to know that you only want to attract the clients that you want, right?
Okay.
And in a way that your vibe attracts your tribe. So the clients that you enroll needs to be able to quite ngam you lah, right? Right?
Okay.
Meaning like your being who you are, right, is someone that they are okay with, they are happy with. They come to you because of who you are, right? Because
Ah,
otherwise, if you attract just about anyone who comes in thinking you're gonna be nice, but you're not nice, you're the kind of like tough love kind of trainer,
mhm.
then they're gonna be demotivated. But if they know that, oh, you are the tough love kind of trainer, and they love it, they come in, you tough love on them, they cry, they
Mhm.
break down, and then they will love you to the forever. All right. So first
Yes.
of all, it's about how you can attract the kind of clients that fit your type. But of course, you
Mm.
have to really identify your X factor as well. Not like anyhow, like, oh, I'm just this arrogant bastard, or I'm just this very timid, quiet, shy trainer. All right. So you have to define your X factor and then use it as your personal brand and marketing as well. So that's very, very important so that you attract the kind of clients that come in, and you just being yourself is already enough to motivate them. Yeah,
Mhm.
so
Okay.
that's something that I would say. Probably no one is going to tell you this way. They probably say, hey, you gotta know their needs, you gotta push them when they have to. But those are given, right? But the very
Mhm.
first step, if you were to thrive in this industry and stand out amongst the sea of sameness, you have to identify your X factor.
Okay, all right. So, continuing from that X factor, right? So the next question is that, right now we are in the, you're in the the service of, sorry, the business of providing services, service provider. So, as a service provider, how do we find that X factor? How do we market ourselves to the world? Can you share us a little bit about that?
Okay, so the very, very first step is always model what works. Okay, I'm never a believer of like sitting there with a blank canvas figuring out, because look, you can do that if you want to, if you have a lot of money, if you don't care about time, money, whatever. Okay, but most likely, even if you have a lot of time and money, you don't want to do that, because people have spent years and years and lots of money figuring out their X factors. Talk about a few big gyms in US, such as Soul Cycles, such as Equinox, such as Rumble Boxing, such as Ultimate Performance in Singapore. They have presence in UK, Hong Kong, all over, right? So what happened here is you want to look at what they do and what the X factor is. Just sit down and then list down, okay, about if you want to get into PT business, maybe you look at Ultimate Performance. What is the X factor? They are all about before and after. If you go on their Instagram, you can see like crazy before and after. That's the X factor, right? If you look at other studios, like what is their X factor? What's something that sticks out on their social media? And then at the same time, while you're doing that, you have to ask yourself like, which one resonates with me most? Okay,
Mm.
not something that, oh, it's cool, I want to do it because like I'm gonna get a lot of attention, I'm gonna get a lot of clients. No, which one resonates with you most? Because the thing is, a lot of people in the industry, they look at, whoa, this is so cool, and then they go jump into it, but it's not quite them. So therefore, it's everything they do, they have to copy, right? But
Mm.
whereas if you use a benchmark as a reference, you see, oh, that's really cool, I like that. Then from now on, you can kind of use that as a benchmark every now and then if you need to, but you know that you have a clarity of what your X factor is. And secondly, you have to always, always, always look inwards. All right. So we
Okay.
spend so much time looking outwards, you have to look inwards. Like, hey, what is something really unique about me that other people have complimented? And if you're not sure, you go ask other people, go ask your clients, like, just wondering, what is it that you think I'm different from other trainers? You gotta have thick skin to find out, okay? Otherwise, you'll be like, you never find out. So ask them, and then you're gonna find common things they say, okay? Then use that. So that's kind of like the formula I would use if you were to find your own X factor. Number one, look at what's out there. Number two is, ask people around you that are paying you money for what you do, and then ask them like, why you pay me, not other trainers?
All right. So CJ, coming from that previous answer you gave us, right? Fitness and gym is very very oversaturated. how, like, is there any ways to overcome this? Like, there's a lot of like those well-known gyms out there. I don't want to name them in this podcast, but there's a lot of well-known gyms out there. How do you think, as a service provider, as a gym trainer, they can overcome this saturated market?
All right. So basically, I would say we are still at a point where it's not that saturated compared to Singapore and China and US, where every corner, every row of shop lots, there are 2 or 3 studios, right? Let's just say if anyone was to go and conquer one of those countries, or if you think that it's saturated in Malaysia, here's what you can do. Okay, so typically, the only reason why one can feel like it's saturated is because if you were to be general about who you are serving, then it is very saturated. All right, if you're general, like I just want to serve anyone with money and anyone that's human, it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely saturated. But if you start to think about if you start to think about like, okay, now what's the age group? Let's say, give you one example of a non-saturated in market.
Mm-hmm.
35 to or 40 to 60. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
40 to
The older
60.
generation.
That's right. So 40 and 60, and is it man or woman or both? Okay, so you can also ask yourself this question. Now, what problem are they facing that, let's say, 40 and 60, menopause, right? Hormonal problem, osteoporosis, and loneliness. That can be another thing, all right?
Wow.
Using using fitness as a vehicle for them to
Okay.
get company, for them to reconnect with themselves because they work so hard all their life, they lost themselves, right? Is it having breakthrough internally? Is it using fitness as a tool to get breakthrough in other areas of life? Because typically fitness has always been done or used in a way that it's just fitness. It's either you get fit, you get a good body, or you don't. But people have never really felt or managed to connect the dots between, okay, here's fitness, here's money, here's relationship, here's business, here's emotional well-being, here's spiritual well-being, and all that stuff. How can fitness amplify all of these areas? People haven't really, or fitness professionals haven't really helped clients to connect these things together. Therefore, you have a lot of people who are fit, but other areas of life, they're horrible. But how can you be so disciplined in that area of fitness and horrible in other areas? I mean, you are disciplined over there, you're committed over there, you are very purposeful and driven over there, but why other areas you are not? So if you can manage to help people do all of that, which I think no other gym or studios and trainers have managed to do, you're gonna have a huge market to yourself. So yes, target the market that is underserved, which I think is 40 and above. All right, everyone's trying to go for the young ones with lots of hypes and Instagrammable KOL driven kind of approach. But I'll say there's so many people that need our help. Look deeper, and those people are definitely waiting for us to be there for them.
I mean, to be honest, I never thought of that way, like niching it down. That's kind of cool though. Is it like, do you like learn this from somewhere, or you just come up with it over the years of your training?
Yeah, it's a bit of both, right? So basically, I have helped clients to, first of all, get fit to start with, but later on, their relationship with their spouse improve. Then I start to notice like, wow, if I had done that more intentionally, what if I had a program that's like intentionally, say, for example, for married couple who want to rekindle their passion for each other?
Okay.
Right? Yeah, I mean, you probably not that you don't do things together at home and all that stuff. Maybe, hey, come work out together, and people say that couples that work out together stay together or something like that. So maybe it works. So yeah, so at the same time, I also look at the more evolved markets such as US. So they have a lot of this kind of thing where men and women, they have programs for men or women. Partially in their program is fitness, but a big part of it is mindset, is spirituality, it's how to bring out your courage, this kind of thing. So I'm quite inspired And therefore, I feel like in Asia, especially in Southeast Asia, people still haven't evolved the way we see fitness, right? Whereas in the West, they already see past being fit and having six pack. They see fitness as a way to enhance marriage, relationship, business, and all that stuff. So therefore, we would say that wellness coaching is probably the next thing that any coaches in Malaysia, Southeast Asia should start focusing on. Start to equip yourself with new skills such as NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, to help coach your clients beyond fitness, beyond in the gym. What if you can help them with their life as well? That's where they will pay extra money, because either way they're gonna spend so much money on a lawyer on divorce anyway, right? If you can help them to save that marriage, they will pay you a lot of money, like 10K, 20K, one shot, right?
Wow. All right, guys. So this is kind of like mind opening for me as well. Like those of you guys are listening to this, if you're still listening, give us a comment in the comment section below. Do let us know like what you're learning from CJ, and yeah. So let's go to the next question. I just want to ask like. Opening a company up, opening a studio is here and there. It's very simple. Like go to a SSM, register yourself, boom, you talk about how to market a studio and how to niche it down, how to overcome saturation. But let's talk about the transition. So usually, as you say, you was a trainer, and then you transition into a studio owner. You people might think that who's not in the industry, right? Transitioning from a trainer to a studio owner, it's like, hey, okay, well, you do the same thing, you move there, is roughly the same thing, but it's actually not. There's a lot of like legal terms you need to understand, a lot of business terms you need to understand. So can you give us your take on this? Like, how do a trainer transition to a studio? What are the things that you need to know about?
Now, this is a big one for me because I personally did not do it right in the beginning. And therefore, if you don't do something right in the beginning, you pay double, triple, 10 times at the end. Okay, so the very first step is this. Most likely you will have one business partner, right? Because you might have like an idea with a friend and say, you know what, we're working in this gym and then the boss take all the money, why don't we start our own? And then that's when you're like, yeah, you're right, let's go. And then that's when the problem comes, right? Because when you and another person want to start together, most likely you both will equally put in the same amount, because that's usually how things go, right? Just say, hey, what are you going to put in? So, and then that's where the problem is. That's where you start saying like, okay, you know what? We go half, 50%, 50%, right? In terms of share distribution and in terms of decision-making rights and all that stuff, everything is 50-50. Now that's where the problem starts there before you even start. Sometimes it's not even the market kills you, it's like you kill yourself with your ignorance and also the lack of this kind of awareness, which I feel like in the future, if I ever was to have any mentorship or anything like that, I want to teach this kind of thing, the shareholding structure. If you don't get it right in the beginning, it's very painful later on. Now, because a business was meant to last beyond 3 years and 5 years and 10 years perhaps, right? Because you don't want to have to restart and then same thing all over again. Therefore, you need to make sure that you have the ability to have a structure where in the future, if investor ever comes in a few times, right, you have a clear leader still in the company. Because if you're 50-50, right, and then your investor comes in, then you become like 40-40-20, and then another investor come in, you can become 30-30-30-30, something like that. Then who's the leader? Right? Because the leader on SSM is based on your percentage. Okay. Yes, you can appoint a leader within a company. That's not what I'm talking about here. But if you go to court, the court will look at SSM percentage to determine who the leader is. The person with a bigger shareholding is the leader. That's the rule. No matter what contract you have with your shareholders and all these agreements with the investors, at the end of the day, contracts will not work in court if this clearly is saying that there's no leader, or this guy's a leader, you're not leader, so sorry about it, right? Because in court, it's all about the lawyers. Which lawyer has better English? To find that little tiny things meaning behind the lines and be like, so you don't want to
Okay.
leave it to that. You want to get it right in the beginning. Okay, so that means two friends come together. One has to admit that I'm gonna be taking less percentage, right? You will take more, but you will be more you take more responsibility for it. Okay, then maybe it's a 60-40 structure, maybe it's a 70-30 structure. Yes, I know it looks kind of like it's unfair, but at the same time, that's what it needs to be done. Now, this doesn't mean that when it comes to profit and dividend distribution, it has to be the same like this, 70-30, 60-40. It can still be 50-50. You just have to have a shareholder agreement that when it comes to dividend policy, it's basically you 50, I 50. But when it comes to this, it's on paper, on SSM, it's 60-40, 70-30, right? Same case, if you have three shareholders, again, a lot of people are like, okay, we got one friend, 33, 33, 33. Again, that's where you screw things up.
So other than like coming up with those shareholders in black and white and like planning who is the leader of the company bringing forward, what other things that you think that every business trainer needs to know when they're going to a studio?
Right. The number one thing is always to know that you don't open a business to get a job in it.
Ah, that is actually true. That is actually very fucking true. Because I started out as that. It's like, hey, my boss make more money doing the same shit as me. So I quit. I open a company. Then I become a worker in my own company.
So the mindset has to shift rather than I'm better than everyone doing things. Sure you are, because you are. That's why you're coming out to do your own thing, right? But
Yeah.
you have to just put aside your ego, be patient, train up your coaches, your trainers, your staff, your employee, knowing that they're not going to be as good as you, and don't have this mindset that, oh, if I could do it better than you, why should I hire you? No, that's just a very limiting belief, and that's a very disempowering mindset. So don't open a business to get a job in it. And number two, if you talk about the mindset and transition and all that, it's all about thinking about how you can systemize this whole thing, right?
Mhm.
So that you deserve the time and the freedom that you wanted in the beginning of your business, right? Because you start a business, maybe you've been to some seminars, you're like, oh my God, I want to have more free time. Great. Then you have to systemize everything, right? So that means document everything that you're doing immediately, or maybe a few days after. Let's say you have done a marketing campaign. Okay, then it's already done. Okay, now trace back. This is what I did first. I did this. I talked to this person. We got this thing done here. The whole flow. You just type it all down. Use charts. Use pictures. Use flow chart diagram. Whatever. So that it's not just read. Your next successor can just visually see it and copy and paste.
I see. All right. So, hope you guys got that. We are coming to the end of the podcast, but I just want to ask like some, very controversial topics to CJ, because he told me, okay, make the questions very controversial. I was like, okay, let's do this. All right. I want to ask you, right? Since with the rise of the technology, with the rise of apps, like you can have like those programs for you. You just pay like a certain fee. You just put in your number, this and that. The app will create a certain program for you. I'm gonna ask you, do you think trainers are becoming obsolete with the rise of this technology coming? So right now we are in like those middle phase, but once in another 10 years, what if you become like a virtual reality trainer? Like, do you think trainers are gonna be obsolete?
I think the ones that can show empathy and compassion will be relevant, and the ones that are not, the ones that are just standing there to count reps, the ones that are instructors, such as just walking around and just guiding you a little bit here and there, because now AI can do that. AI can say, hey, you're out of alignments with your squats, right? So if you want to be relevant, you need to make sure that you are bringing out the human side of you even more, because that one, robots and AI and machine and whatever else cannot replace that. Well, at least for the next 10 years, I think. Maybe eventually they will. But in our lifetime, if you just keep bringing out the human side of you, keep bringing out. And I think you will still be very, very, you'll last in the industry, right? Because people actually crave for humanly connection. People would even risk their life to do that. Now, what do I mean? Well, as soon as lockdown was open, people like flocked into the restaurants, right? Knowing that they could die.
Yeah, the moment they say it's like everybody can go out, okay, let's go gym. I don't care got COVID or not. Okay.
People risk their life for human connection. So, I think people would still kind of like ignoring the existence of AI machine there because they want humanly connection.
But here's a question though. Let's put it in a hypothetical scenario, right? I want to ask you, if let's say you fail your business, you fail Move, what's next for you? This is a hypothetical situation.
Yes, I like that questions because it's something that I would say my previous venture didn't really work out in a way that the potential of it is not maximized. So therefore, I'm with Move currently, and the only thing that keep me going, and you probably see me that I've been in this for a long time. That no matter what vehicle I'm in, all right, those are just vehicle, right? The previous venture, the playground, and now Move, right? Those are the vehicle, and the vehicle is like a car, right? Then you have your vision and mission, right? So regardless, I'm still going to want to reach to my mission and vision, which I want to empower a lot of fitness trainers to become great entrepreneurs so they can set themselves free from this rat race they're in right now. And trading time for money is an industrial age method. All right.
Yep.
So how about start to use system to trade for money? How about start to leverage to trade for money? I think that's a better way. It's about how you can duplicate wealth in a more efficient and effective manner. So that's something that I want to help coaches realize, because I know coaches are great human beings. I mean, like compared to someone who just settle for, let's say, a very safe, very fixed job that give you just the routine. Coaches took a lot of risk, right? Coaches, they took a lot of risk. They went against the family. The family say, no, you're stupid or what? Why do you want to be a coach, right? They went against the norm, at least in Asia, right? They're being the outcasts, right? They're the black sheep of the family. A lot of time, because I see coaches every day, and a lot of time they have to go through a lot of adversity just to be doing what they're doing today. So I think they deserve a lot more, but the current system doesn't allow them to get that much more. So that's something I want to keep going, and definitely in the next 3 to 5 years, I want to be able to be coming up and speak more in podcasts like this, seminars, conference, to bring up the awareness amongst fitness coaches all around the world.
This might be like, those 10 years later, you saw this. Oh, that was my first podcast I did. Now I'm speaking with a lot of like big trainers right now. So yeah, okay. I kind of like it when you say that focus on the vision and mission rather than your business, because being business is a vehicle. I do, coming from myself, I do also like feel it like it, because it's a business that I created personally. So I have an emotional attachment to it. So, and I know that a lot of people in the younger starting business, they feel the same way, like, hey, how do I let go of my business? That's my baby. But your way of thinking, focusing on the vision and the mission is way better than what we are trying to do here. All right, so hope you guys enjoy this podcast. It's been a very eye opening for myself as well, and hopefully I got a lot of takeaway from this, and hopefully people are listening to this as well took away a lot of good tips that CJ just gave us. But okay, so before we end, right, CJ, I just want to ask you, what attitude as a business owner should have?
Well, the attitude is all about how you can lead other people effectively and efficiently, right? So that's something that I am constantly working on. And I would say at the end of the day, the success of your business comes down to the people that you have. So your attitude has to be well, in a way, you really care about them, you really love them, you really treat them like family. That means you will go out of your way to help them, even outside of the context of work. But at the same time, you have to make sure that you're challenging them, and you make them aware of it. And at the same time, you as a leader, there's so much to learn about leadership. So it's a constant learning and learning, because you know what? If someone average comes in, being a good leader yourself will be able to bring out the best in this person. Now, if someone great comes in, if you're a crappy leader, this person is not going to go anywhere, and perhaps this person will leave. So it all comes down to you. And definitely your leadership can make or break an individual in a team, and also the team as a whole. So there are so many information out there that you can learn about leadership. John Maxwell is one person that you can learn from. And you can also watch the playbook on Netflix. You can hear about different leaders in the sporting field, how they overcome adversity. And also being a leader is about having this wide perspective, right, that no one else has. Because when shit comes along, you want to be the guy that can see left to right, up and down, 360 views, and then make decision, rather than having a too narrow focus, too tunnel vision. Then you might compromise a lot of things.
All right. So that's CJ for our first ever podcast. Thank you for coming. Yeah. And also, as always, guys, if you guys want more questions, you can ask us in the comment section below. And if you guys want to get connected with CJ, I'll put all his social links in the description. Any plugs that you want to give out before we end this podcast?
Any last line?
Like plugs. Like, do you want to plug anything? Do you want to mention about your Move Fitness? How do we contact you and this and that?
All right, great stuff. Okay, so basically, as you know, I'm on a big mission and vision to empower more fitness trainers to become entrepreneurs, to basically leverage system, leverage a business, leverage a team to basically make a living, right? And make impact. So I'm here to get more coaches on board. And if you're looking for a straightforward path to follow step by step, because I've walked there, my team has basically walked there. So welcome on board. And definitely, it's not easy to get in. We'll definitely do a lot of stringent interviews and making sure that you are purpose driven. You are also profit driven as well, because it has to be profitable in order to go a lot further. So purpose, profit, and also you have to be passionate. That means every single day you wake up to that. And if that sounds like you, definitely we would love to have you on board. And it's amazing to work alongside people like that, because we are out there going overseas to conquer markets like Singapore and Thailand. So it's not easy. And if that excites you, let's do it.
All right. So if you want to get in contact with him, I'll put in the link description below so you can have a chat with him. And yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for watching this podcast, and thank you, CJ, for coming in. And as always, guys, go out there, discover, connect, and inspire. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao.